Should avoid play Call of Duty for Echo Gaming. Big enough.
Right, so first off, Stuart, talk me through your travel day. How did it go? How did you travel here? How did it go? Troubles with Airbnb, etc.
Travel day was pretty good to start off with. No issues at all. Getting to London, everything was perfect. Even on arrival, everything was good. Met up with Sam, pretty good time. Nobody was really messing about. Everything was it was going too good. Something was gonna go wrong. It was gonna. And then that's when the news came in that our Airbnb that we'd booked had been cancelled the hour before check-in, so we were scrambling to try and figure out where we were going to stay for the weekend. I panic booked a hotel just in case we didn't get any accommodation, and then luckily one of our friends, Dylan, found the house that we're in just now, and the person that owns this was kind enough to let us stay in. Thank God that happened, otherwise we were going to have to try and split between two different hotels, and it would have just been a lot more stress than what was needed. And we thought that was going to be the only kind of stress we'd come up against, but it got worse from there. But that was the first kind of battle on travel day. But other than that, for travel, that was it. That was one big problem, but somehow we got through that. Somehow.
Not talking about the Rocky issue.
That's not travel day.
It happened on the same day, mate.
Yeah, but it's got nothing to do with travel.
Fair enough. Okay. So obviously the incident with Rocky's passport. Talk about that now.
Right. So we get to the house, sort everything out. Everyone's here. Meet up with everyone. Go over some scrim footage. Go over some VODs. Talk about the event. And then out of nowhere, something was brought up that Rocky couldn't find his passport. So obviously, it being an 18+ event and Rocky only just turning 18 and having no other ID, we were getting a bit frantic because worst case scenario was going to be we would get to the event and he would get turned away, and then we would have to find a pickup, reset our seed, and then even if we got a pickup and the seed was reset, other teams could still choose not to play us, so it would have been a complete write-off. So we tore the house left, right and centre to try and find this passport that was apparently seen in the house, but no one else other than Sam and Rocky and Alex had seen it. And we tore the house apart and we still couldn't find it. Luckily we got into the event, not saying he's underage because he was of age, but it was just an absolute panic. We didn't, after their whole Airbnb issue to start with, we thought that would be the last thing, but people say things comes in threes, and then that happened, and Christ, that was the worst one, because I thought, I've travelled all the way down from Scotland, I've spent this money, put all this time in, and we're not even going to showcase anything. It was annoying, but yeah, that was a pain in the ass.
Okay, so talk me through your guys' prep, your schedule. What did you guys do going into the event? Obviously, you brought Sean in about a month before. So how was it going before, and then bringing Sean in? How did that change things? Before,
we were just trying to get on and practice as best we could. We were in a rut. We were losing a lot of maps. We were going on. We were finishing scrims 2 to 15 map counts, 3 to 14. We were losing a lot. Somehow still stuck through it. A lot of teams would disband after nights like that, and we had weeks like that. It wasn't just nights; we had weeks like that. And then one night we just asked Sean to spec our scrims. I don't know why, it just happened. And he gave some really valid input, because we knew we had an issue, but we didn't know how to address it. We knew it was a pacing issue and some other issues, but like I said, we didn't know how to address it. So after Sean gave us the advice and it showed, I messaged him straight away and I was like, look, do you want to be our coach? Because we need that outside opinion that can give us that different kind of point of view that we aren't seeing as players. We're all just butting heads, and he was coming from a completely outside perspective, not a player perspective, just a spectator / coach perspective. And he kind of tightened up what we needed tightened up and made us well more refined. And after a few weeks with him, we slowly gradually noticed that we're winning. We're doing scrims that were maps counts 7 to 7, 8 to 8, things like that. We were much more balanced out. We're trading maps with good teams, so Sean brought a lot into the tables. It was really good for him to come on board.
Now, what were your feelings and like, your hopes and expectations coming into the event?
I really wanted to make it to Saturday.
Coming into the event, started with that.
Coming into the event, I really wanted to make it to Saturday. Last year I just fell short. Played Dylan Codden that last year, so it was a tough match. But I really wanted to make it to Saturday this year. Didn't really know who we were playing first, but we knew that they were looking up on us because they started following my Twitch, so they were going through past broadcasts. So we knew they were serious. Again, didn't really know what they were capable of, so felt confident going into it, and they just came out with a different level of aggression and pace. So that kind of took my mindset from being confident and just threw it so far aside, and it took me a while to get over that. But coming into the event was the plan was to get to Saturday, but things didn't pan out that way.
So, talk me through each map you've played from your perspective.
The first series against the French guys, they were really good players, really nice guys as well. Started slow. I mean, yeah, we just started slow. We played the map wrong. We think we played into their best map, but we don't know that. They cut the map so well. It was high send at hard point. They cut the map so well, and just completely shut us down from every angle. That map was just a write off. There's not much to say about that. Going into the gridlock S&D, we had strats, a few limited strats down. Managed to pull out a 5-1 lead. We were like, right, cool, we're definitely forcing a control. Let's try and make something happen. And then we just ran out of energy, we ran out of ideas, and they strung together 6 rounds and completely just sent us packing. In my head space was just, I don't know where I was at. I had to completely regain, I had to remove myself for the whole situation and just take a little bit of time myself before going into the next map. The next round, because we didn't even know who we were playing. I didn't care who we were playing. I just knew I needed to get into a better headspace, otherwise I would have brought the team down. So after that, it was just to focus on myself and get myself ready for the next game. And then we found out we were playing Pluxy, and Raz's team, Confirmed Esports, I think their name was. And we'd had a lot of animosity with them online, and it was like you couldn't write it. Essentially, you could not write that we were playing them. So we were going into that really motivated, really wanted to win that. First map was a hard point. We outslayed them completely. The match was close somehow, but we edged it out. We made a lot of mistakes, but we edged it out. Got out of the S&D, they beat us 6-1. Not much to say about that. They just outplayed us. And the control, it was our best map, best game mode. We were completely controlling the pace of that. Went 2-0 up. Then we were prepared for them to win 2 rounds. We were prepared to go the distance on control because we practiced it a lot in scrims, and ended up going to the round 5, and we just kind of clutched up together as a team, showed a lot of resilience, showed a lot of heart, a lot of composure, and edged out the win, and managed to take the map going into losers round 2. It was good. Yeah.
Quickly before you go on to the next one, obviously you said at the start you guys stuck through some of the hardest weeks of like scrum losses and stuff like that. How do you think staying together in that long and staying as a team helped you with that final round? Like, how much did that?
What, the round 5?
Yeah. Like,
Oh, we'd been in that situation in scrims a lot. We prepared for it. It would happen in scrims all the time, and we'd like throwing control games as much as we did on scrims prepared us for this moment, because we realised that if you go up 2-0, use your specialists in that second round because you'll get them again. And then if you're up 2-0, the team you're playing use their specialists to bring it back to round 5. And by the time you get to round 5, you've got all your specialists back, and they've lost everything. So if you play your specialist to your advantage and you play smart, going into that round 5, if it does go that distance, you should be more prepared. And we learned that from sticking. It was probably the biggest benefit we had going into that round 5, knowing we'd have our specialist back, because we'd been in that situation so many times. I was so calm. A lot of people would be maybe really nervous. I was so calm going into that round 5. Like, a lot of people would look at it as, we've got 30 lives each, whoever loses the 31st is out of the tournament. Didn't look at it like that. I just looked at it as round 5, been here before, it'll be fine. got a bit scary, but I helped Jack out, Jack helped me out, and we edged it out and stayed in the tournament.
Hold on. Now, quickly, talk about what was going through your head when Sam got that triple team kill, and then just a few minutes later when Jack ended up going on a streak, getting his vision pulse, and then earning streaks, which he'll disclose at the end. How did you feel about all that? Like, what was the emotional state like through that whole series of events?
When Sam made the mistake of not trusting us and launching the War Machine in, it tilted me. My head was a bit messy there. I looked at Jack and I was like, what has just happened? We've worked to get this point. We've got the point, and he just took everything away that we've just worked for. Didn't know Jack was close to streaks. I knew he had his vision, and I knew he was going to time it, because that's just how he plays vision. So I was worried, but I wasn't scared. Like, I was worried about the play that had just been made, because we did make it harder for ourselves, but I still didn't think we'd lose. I still think we were alright, because I still had my Tempest to use, and he still had his vision, so I was thinking about that. And even before he popped his streaks, we'd managed to retake P1, and I'd popped my Tempest to hold the blue angle, and we had like 3 or 4 players. I think we had all 4 of us on the point, and Jack popped his streaks just as a safety net. So at that point, when the streaks started coming down, it was just more of a kind of reassurance that they weren't going to be able to get into the point. But it was a bit messy. It was the same at the start of the frequency when questionable plays were made at blue pipes, and same thing happened to Jack. He got a bit frantic, and same thing, looked at me. We both calmed each other down. So at the start of the game, we calmed each other down. At the end of the game, we calmed each other down, and we managed to get through that. And that's what I think teaming together for so long has done for us, is we know how to calm each other down in situations like that. Losers round 2 versus Plaz Night, we knew who we were playing, we knew who we were going into. Played them online, they'd beat us a few times. We knew that they were a good online team, but I'd never doubted for a minute that they would perform on LAN. Going into the Seaside, we started so slow. This final score was 250, 196. We could have easily beat that if we hadn't given away like 70 points at the start. It just started slow. I think it was because we were coming off of a really intense match with Pluxy and that. We were a bit drained. It was very, very late at night as well. We were a bit drained, so I think coming out with not enough intensity kind of shot us in the foot on the hard point. But going into the S&D, we felt a lot better. Ended up going 4-1. Same story as the match against the French kids. Ran out of ideas, ran out of gas, and ended up throwing that S&D 6-5 and lost that match and went out of the tournament. But when I look at it if I step back and look at it, it's crazy how close it actually was. Yeah, we did throw a 4-1 lead. They threw a massive lead in hardpoint. We had them on 249 points from about 3 hills. So again, just looking at it as if we don't start slow, then we win that hardpoint, and if we find out how to close out our S&Ds, that's a 2-0, and we go on to Saturday. So it stung. It really did sting, but I was proud of the guys. Dan had an absolute incredible event. Really showed that the work he'd put in at home, like, it really showed that he'd put in a lot of work at home. And Rocky, for his first event, everybody makes a mistake, but overall event, he had a good performance for his first LAN. Me having my second one, I had a pretty average event, played consistent. But yeah, it was upsetting to go home the way we did, but small mistakes, all you can do is learn from it, regain and go again, but we'll see what the future holds there.
Okay, so you kind of touched on it a little bit there. Talk me through that heartbreaking round 11.
Fucking where to start. They had a lightning, didn't even know they had a lightning, kind of flustered us. I fucking don't know what happened in that round 11, to be honest. I remember trading out the guy in ice cream, then spinning around knowing we had to put bomb down, so I had to make sure bomb planter could get down, but their last guy was in front of me somehow. I punched him, but because I was running an ICR that round, my gun didn't come up quick enough, so I couldn't get the shot off, so I ended up getting traded. Jack then went to lay the bomb down.
Stop you, Jack then went to lay the bomb down.
Jack then went to lay the bomb down, but his gun started reloading first, so it delayed the time to plant the bomb, and it ended up, the time went out, so we didn't lose the round in like any gun skill fashion. The time just ran out. That's what made it even more annoying. Like, one little thing, because who knows if Jack gets that bomb down, what happens? I reckon he backs up 18 and he just plays the time and jiggle peaks it, and we win that round. But like 0.1 of a second fucking lost us that S&D, and it was tough. Again, we lost it ourselves throwing the lead, but that 0.1 of a second, that fucking sucked. I just did something by accident.
What?
I pressed the top button, pressed set. Did that do anything? Like, I was trying to push it back into my pocket, I didn't know there was a button at the top.
That's fine.
Is it okay?
Should be fine.
Okay. Double check though.
Last question. What do you guys think you could have improved on?
Didn't put enough time in S&D.
Remember?
Oh, yeah. Improvements going into the event. We could have definitely improved our S&D. We had plans to go into strategies and potential routes we could take, but it never really came to fruition. But if we learned how to play S&D better and tighten up our hard points, it would have been a different weekend, 100%.